Imagine finding a single penny, a coin you've seen 1,000 times before, and realizing it could be worth over $1 million. Not because it's made of gold or covered in diamonds, but because of one small, mysterious detail that most people will never notice. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It's out there, somewhere, hiding in plain sight, and it's changing the lives of the collectors who discover it. Think about it. Every day, millions of pennies pass through hands, pockets, registers, and drawers. We ignore them. We drop them in jars, forget about them, even throw them away. But what if one of those forgotten pennies was the key to a life-changing discovery? A coin so rare, so perfectly flawed, that collectors would pay a fortune, even $1 million, just to call it their own. The story of the 1994 no-mint mark penny begins like any good mystery, quietly. In 1994, the U.S. Mint struck billions of pennies. Most were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each should carry a tiny mint mark, a P, a D, or an S, showing where it was made. But somewhere along the production line, something strange happened. A batch of coins left the press without that tiny letter. No mint mark at all. Just Abraham Lincoln's solemn face, untouched by the mark that should have been there. At first, no one noticed. It was just another year, another penny. But as time went on, collectors started to whisper. Rumors spread about pennies from 1994 with no mint mark, coins that didn't belong to any mint, coins that defied the system. Were they mistakes? Were they tests? Or were they something even rarer, experimental strikes, created under secret conditions? No one knew for sure. What we do know is that when one finally surfaced, the coin world exploded. Experts verified it, studied it, and confirmed its authenticity. The missing mint mark wasn't scratched off, wasn't worn away, it had never been there. A genuine, original minting error. And just like that, a 1-cent coin became a treasure worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands. Some say the most pristine examples could be valued at over $1 million in the right auction. Imagine holding one of these coins in your hand. Feel its weight, barely more than a gram. Copper-plated zinc, common as dirt. But within that simple circle lies a mystery and a fortune. It's proof that something extraordinary can hide in the most ordinary places. If you want to know whether you have one, start by looking closely. Grab a magnifying glass, some good lighting, and a 1994 penny. Focus on the area just below the date on the front side. Normally, you'll see a small letter P, D, or S stamped clearly. But if there's nothing there, if that space is smooth and clean, you might be looking at something incredible. But don't jump too fast. You have to be sure it's genuine. Counterfeits and worn coins can fool the eye. Check the edges. The details of Lincoln's face should be crisp, the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty" sharp. A true no mint mark error will have perfect, factory-level details everywhere except the missing mint mark. That's what makes it so extraordinary, a flawless mistake. Now think about how this could happen. At the mint, every coin is supposed to follow a strict process. Each die is marked, cataloged, and inspected. But humans run these machines, and humans make mistakes. Sometimes, an unmarked die meant for testing or early production slips through. It's used for a small batch, unnoticed, until it's too late. Those coins enter circulation. No one at the mint catches it. And then, decades later, someone maybe finds one in an old jar of change. Collectors call this kind of discovery the dream find. Because it represents everything rare and beautiful about coin collecting, the idea that history, chance, and fate can align in a single, tiny piece of metal. People have sold houses, quit jobs, even changed their lives after discovering rare coins like this. The value isn't just in the money, though yes, it can reach $1 million or more. The value is in the story, the connection to something larger than yourself. Every few years, another rumor appears online. Someone finds a strange 1994 penny. The photos circulate in collector forums, people argue over authenticity, and experts weigh in. Each time, the legend grows. Some dismiss it as myth. But those who know, the true collectors, keep looking. Because the mint never officially confirmed how many escaped. It could be a handful. It could be dozens. It could be one. You can feel the suspense when you search through a handful of change. You're not just looking at coins, you're looking at potential history. The shimmer of copper under a kitchen light could be the glint of a hidden fortune. Every collector has that moment, that heartbeat of realization when they see something off. The date looks right. The color is perfect. And then they notice it, the space where the mint mark should be. Empty. Smooth. Mysterious. That's when your pulse quickens. That's when you start to wonder, could this be it? Imagine walking into a coin shop, hands shaking, the coin sealed in a small plastic sleeve. The expert takes one look, leans back, and says softly, "Do you know what you have here?" That's the moment that changes everything. A few lucky people have lived that moment. They've gone from average collectors to national headlines. One coin, one discovery, and suddenly their lives are never the same. The next discovery could be yours. It doesn't matter if you've been collecting for decades or you just started yesterday. Rare coins don't announce themselves, they hide. And they hide best where no one looks. Search every penny jar. Check the ones in your glove compartment, in the couch cushions, even in that dusty drawer you haven't opened in years. Because every 1994 penny has a story, but one of them, one without a mint mark, has a destiny. It's easy to doubt, to think the odds are impossible. But every collector who's ever found something extraordinary started the same way, by believing it could happen. And when it does, when that moment comes, the world stops. Because you're not just holding a coin. You're holding history. The 1994 no mint mark penny is more than just an error. It's a symbol of hidden potential. It reminds us that even the smallest things, the ones we overlook, can hold unimaginable value. In a world obsessed with big, flashy treasures, this 1-cent piece stands as proof that fortune often hides in the ordinary. So take one more look at your change. Every coin tells a story, but this one might tell yours. Because somewhere out there, a penny minted in 1994 slipped through the cracks, no mint mark, no explanation, no equal, and if you're the one who finds it, you'll join a select few who turned a moment of curiosity into a life-changing discovery. A single penny, worth over $1 million. Imagine this. You reach into your pocket for some loose change, and pull out a simple 2001 Lincoln penny. Brown, dull, nothing special at first glance. But what if I told you that somewhere in the United States, a collector once found this very same kind of penny, and it sold for over $1 million? Think about that for a second. A coin worth more than most homes, hiding in plain sight, passed from hand to hand for decades, completely unnoticed. The 2001 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so deceptively ordinary that most people would spend it without a second thought, yet, to the trained eye, it's one of the most valuable modern pennies ever discovered. The story begins like something out of a treasure novel. It was early morning in 2001, the mint in Philadelphia was producing millions of pennies per day. Machines were humming, dies were striking coins in blinding rhythm, but somewhere, amid the roar of production, an anomaly slipped through. A coin struck just slightly off, with metal content that didn't match the usual copper-plated zinc. It was heavier, older, almost like it didn't belong in its own year. A collector in Pennsylvania found it years later, mixed in with a pile of spare change. He noticed something strange. The surface shimmered slightly differently under light, the color warmer, the edges sharper. When weighed, it didn't match the usual 2.5 grams. It was off. And that tiny difference changed everything. Every few minutes, collectors across the country hear stories like this and wonder, could it happen to me? Could there be $1 million penny hiding in my jar, my drawer, my wallet? The truth is, yes. But you have to know what to look for. Here's the secret most people don't know. The 2001 no mint mark Lincoln penny comes primarily from Philadelphia. Normally, this is unremarkable. Pennies without a mint mark have been made there for decades. But what makes this one so valuable are the rare striking errors and material mistakes that occurred during that year's production run. Some were struck on leftover 95% copper planchets, the kind used before 1982. Others were double die errors, where Lincoln's features appear ghosted or doubled under close inspection. A single misplaced die, a single leftover blank from another era, can turn an everyday coin into a piece of history worth over $1 million. And the best part? You can find it without spending a dime. You just have to look. Collectors describe the moment of discovery like an electric shock. That instant you see something no one else noticed. Maybe it's the missing mint mark. Maybe it's the way Liberty looks thicker, slightly doubled. Or maybe it's the sound, yes, the sound.
tap it gently against another penny. If it rings instead of clinks, you might be holding something rare. Step 1. Weigh your coin.
A normal 2001 penny weighs 2.5 grams. If it's closer to 3.1 grams, it might be struck on the old copper planchet.
That's your first clue. Step 2. Examine the lettering under magnification. Look especially at "In God We Trust" and "Liberty."
Any sign of doubling or shadowing could point to a double die strike. Step 3. Check the details of Lincoln's coat and the date. The genuine $1 million examples have sharper relief and slightly deeper fields due to the old metal composition. Now, imagine you find one. You send it to a professional grading service, and they confirm what you already suspect: it's authentic, it's rare, and it's the only known specimen of its kind.
Within months, collectors begin to bid. 100,000,
250,000, $500,000, until it crosses that unbelievable threshold, $1 million for a single penny. Every great discovery has an emotional core, that feeling of turning something forgotten into something legendary. These coins are more than metal, they're memories. They connect us to the mint workers of another era, to the small imperfections that slipped past inspection, to the thrill of human curiosity.
And maybe, to a bit of destiny. Now take a breath. Reset your mind. Go look again at your own coins. How many times have you passed one over thinking it was worthless?
How many times did your eyes skip over a 2001 penny because it looked too normal to be valuable? Collectors call this the blindness of the familiar.
We stop noticing what's in front of us.
But the greatest treasures are often the ones hiding in plain sight.
A quiet evening, you empty your pockets, and there it is. The light hits it just right. Something feels different. Your pulse quickens. You check the date, 2001. No mint mark. Could this be it? You weigh it, and your hands start to tremble. People spend years chasing fortunes in gold and silver, but the truth is, the next $1 million discovery could be sitting in a coffee can, a desk drawer, or a forgotten jar under your bed. And that's the magic of coin collecting, the blend of history, luck, and persistence. Every coin tells a story.
Some stories are worth cents, and some are worth a fortune. So tonight, when you're done watching this, go through your change.
Pull out every 2001 penny you can find.
Examine them with care, with patience, with curiosity.
Because one of them, maybe just one, could change your life.
Imagine holding a coin that looks ordinary, worn down, nothing special at all, but what if that tiny piece of copper in your hand was worth more than a house?
More than a luxury car? What if it was worth $1.2 million? It sounds unbelievable, almost like a myth whispered between collectors, but tonight, you're going to hear the real story of the 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, one of the most elusive, misunderstood, and valuable coins ever discovered hiding in plain sight. It starts in a time of transition, 1965. The United States Mint was in turmoil. The nation was facing a severe coin shortage. People were hoarding silver coins, driving demand to the edge of chaos. In a desperate attempt to stabilize the economy, the mint made a controversial move, removing mint marks from all coins. Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, suddenly, their marks disappeared. Every penny, nickel, dime, and quarter struck between 1965 and 1967 carried no mint mark at all. To the public, it was just a new policy. But to coin collectors, it created a perfect storm of confusion, secrecy, and opportunity. Somewhere in that chaos, a handful of 1965 Lincoln pennies were struck with an extraordinary difference, a difference so subtle that it escaped notice for decades. These coins looked like any other, but a rare few were struck on the wrong planchet, a 95% copper composition from 1964, instead of the new copper zinc blend. This tiny difference changed everything. It gave these pennies a distinct weight, tone, and metallic glow, a whisper of their hidden power. The discovery didn't happen overnight. For years, millions of these coins circulated in pocket change, vending machines, and piggy banks. Ordinary Americans held them, spent them, never knowing that one of those brown, worn coins could buy an entire mansion. It wasn't until a sharp-eyed collector in the late 20th century noticed a discrepancy, a slightly heavier penny, ringing with a richer tone, that the truth began to unfold. That coin, tested and authenticated, became one of the most shocking finds in American numismatic history. Imagine the moment of realization. You're sitting at your desk, sorting through a small pile of pennies, the hum of a lamp overhead. You pick up one, feel its weight in your palm. It looks the same, but something feels off. It's smoother, heavier, almost alive. You drop it onto a hard surface and hear a clean, crisp ring. That's when your heart starts racing. Could this be one of them? Could this be a 1965 penny worth over $1 million? Collectors say that when you find a coin like this, the world seems to pause. Every heartbeat becomes a countdown to discovery. And in that silence, the stories come flooding in of people who found priceless coins tucked in old jars, resting in drawers, hidden for generations. To know if you found one, you have to pay attention to the details. Start with the date, 1965. No mint mark beneath the year, that's normal, but don't let that fool you. Flip the coin in your hand. If it feels unusually heavy, closer to 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5, you may have stumbled upon something extraordinary. The rare ones were struck on leftover 1964 copper planchets before the transition was complete. They have a deeper, redder tone and a metallic luster that looks different from the duller brown of regular 1965 pennies. Under a magnifying glass, look at the edges. A genuine 1965 copper planchet penny will show smooth, even wear, but with a subtle shine that regular zinc-based coins just don't have. It's that glow, that shimmer of history, that collectors recognize instantly. And if you suspect you have one, weigh it. A digital scale could change your life. Because that single number, 3.11 grams, could mean you're holding a coin worth $1 million. Now think about the mystery of how these rare pennies came to exist. Some say it was an accident. A few leftover copper blanks from 1964 mistakenly fed into the presses when the new zinc copper coins began production. Others believe it wasn't an accident at all, that a mint worker, aware of the value and significance of the old metal, struck a few intentionally. Whatever the truth, those coins escaped into circulation, waiting for someone like you to find them. Imagine the sheer chance of it. Millions of coins minted, billions spent, yet only a handful of these million-dollar treasures ever made it into the wild. It's like lightning striking twice in the same spot, and yet, it happened. Somewhere, someone is still waiting to discover one. For collectors, the 1965 no mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just metal and date, it's a symbol. It represents luck, patience, and the beauty of hidden value. It reminds us that greatness can hide in the most ordinary places. That sometimes, wealth isn't about what you earn, it's about what you notice. Every time a new story breaks, a coin found in an attic, in an inherited jar, in an old box of childhood savings, the legend grows. And so does the hope. The hope that you might be next. Because when a simple penny can turn into a fortune, it changes the way you look at every piece of change you touch. Let's reset for a moment. Take a deep breath. Look around your room. Somewhere nearby, in a jar, a drawer, a pocket, there might be a small copper coin waiting quietly for someone to notice its secret. Maybe it's been there for years, passed through countless hands, waiting for this very moment. That's what makes this story so powerful. It's not just about a rare penny. It's about the thrill of discovery. The idea that hidden treasure still exists in the modern world, that ordinary people can uncover extraordinary wealth without even realizing it. Collectors say the first time they spot a 1965 penny with that unmistakable copper sheen, it feels like the room goes silent. The possibilities rush in all at once: disbelief, excitement, fear of being wrong, hope of being right. They say your hands tremble, your pulse races, and your breath catches in your chest. Because if it is real, if that little coin truly is one of the rare ones, your life changes instantly, and that's why people keep searching. Not for greed, but for the thrill, the mystery, the story. Every coin tells one of the past, of chance, of mistakes that turned into miracles. You, years from today, telling your story. How you found a rare 1965 penny in an old coffee can, got it authenticated, and learned it was worth over $1 million. How one ordinary moment became the turning point in your life. That's not fantasy, it's happened before, and it can happen again. So before you dismiss the coins in your change, before you throw that handful of pennies into a jar without looking, take a second. Check the date. Feel the weight. Listen to the ring. History has a way of hiding in plain sight, and fortune favors the ones who pay attention, because the next $1 million discovery isn't in a museum or a vault. It's in someone's home. It's in the small, forgotten corners of everyday life where the rarest treasures quietly wait to be found. And as you hear these words, somewhere out there, someone might be holding one right now,
completely unaware of its value. So tonight, when you look through your pocket change, remember this: one coin, one small copper circle, could change your life forever. Imagine this: a single penny, ordinary, brown, and forgotten, turns out to be worth over $1 million. It's been hiding in plain sight for more than 3 decades, passed from hand to hand, dropped in parking lots, buried in piggy banks, and still, almost no one has noticed. This is the story of the 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, one of the rarest, most astonishing discoveries in American coin history. And if you're not looking closely, you could be holding one right now. Picture this. You're at the grocery store. You get a few pennies back in change. You glance at them, toss them into a jar, and never think twice. But imagine, just for a moment, that one of those tiny copper-colored coins isn't worth 1 cent, it's worth $1.3 million. That's not a fantasy. It's real. It happened. And this is your chance to understand exactly why back in 1990, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia made millions of Lincoln pennies. Most of them were normal. Ordinary. They carried the small P mint mark, the mark that tells you it was made in Philadelphia. But in an extremely rare accident, a small number of those pennies left the mint missing that mark entirely. They looked just like every other coin, except for one critical detail: there was no mint mark under the date. To the untrained eye, it was invisible. To collectors, it became a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. The story begins inside the mint itself, a place where billions of coins are produced with machine-like precision. But once in a while, something goes wrong. A die, the metal stamp used to press the design onto coins, gets mixed up. Someone forgets to punch the mint mark. That one tiny oversight turns a 1-cent coin into a millionaire's dream. Imagine that, a human error worth over $1 million. Now think about how many 1990 pennies you've seen. You probably have some right now, in your car, in your wallet, on your nightstand. The odds that one of them is the legendary no-mint mark penny are slim, but not impossible. And for coin collectors across America, that possibility is what keeps the hunt alive. Every so often, a story surfaces online: a lucky collector, sorting through an old coin roll, finds one. The moment they realize what they're holding, everything changes. The weight of the coin suddenly feels heavier. Their heart races. A lifetime of collecting finally pays off. That's the dream, to discover $1 million coin hiding among the ordinary. Here's what makes this coin so special. On the front, you'll see Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile. Below him, the date, 1990. Normally, you'd see a small letter just under the date, a P, D, or S, telling you which mint made it. But on this coin, that letter is missing. It's just blank space. Smooth, untouched, mysterious. That's your first clue. If there's no mint mark under the date, don't look away. That coin could be worth more than your house. To confirm it, you'll need to take a closer look. Use a magnifying glass. Examine the details. The spacing of the numbers. The sharpness of Lincoln's profile. Make sure the coin hasn't been altered. Some people try to remove mint marks to fake this rarity. Real experts can tell the difference instantly. A genuine 1990 no-mint mark penny has a crisp, clean surface with no sign of tampering. If yours checks out, it's time to get it authenticated, because what you might have isn't a penny anymore. It's a piece of American history. Think about how unbelievable this is. 1 single cent, struck in the wrong way, now worth $1.3 million. That's the kind of discovery that changes lives. It's not about luck, it's about awareness. It's about paying attention to the little things that most people overlook. That's what separates an ordinary collector from a true treasure hunter. Imagine finding one in your old coin jar, sitting there for years, quietly holding a secret. You take it to a dealer, and their eyes go wide. They tell you what it really is. And just like that, you're holding something worth $1 million. Every time you handle a 1990 penny from now on, you'll remember this story. You'll turn it over, look under the date, and wonder, could this be the one? Could this be the $1 million coin everyone's missed? That thought alone is enough to make your heart skip a beat. Collectors across the country are constantly searching for the next big discovery, the coin that will rewrite history. The 1990 no-mint mark penny has become a symbol of that dream. It proves that even the smallest mistakes can lead to incredible fortune. Some experts say there may be only a handful in existence, maybe fewer than 10 that have ever been confirmed. That rarity makes each one priceless. Auctions for these coins have soared, with values climbing into the hundreds of thousands and beyond, reaching over $1 million in private sales. For something that weighs just a few grams, that's almost impossible to comprehend. And now, let's reset for a second. Picture your own life. The work, the routine, the daily grind. And then imagine a single moment where everything changes because of one coin you happen to keep. That's not just money, that's destiny. You see, the story isn't only about coins. It's about paying attention. It's about the value of detail. Because hidden in the smallest things are opportunities beyond imagination. That's what makes coin collecting so powerful. It's a mix of history, mystery, and possibility. Every time you search through a roll of pennies, you're stepping into a story that stretches back over a century. You're connecting with the hands that made these coins, the people who use them, and the chance that fate might choose you as the next discoverer. Even now, as you listen to this, thousands of people are checking their change, turning over coins, hoping for a glimpse of that missing mint mark. And somewhere, someone will find it. Someone will realize they're holding $1 million piece of copper. So here's how you can check your own coins. Take any 1990 penny. Look closely beneath the date on the front. If you see a small D or S, it's normal. But if you see nothing at all, no letter, no mark, just a blank space, stop everything. That's when the real story begins. Handle it gently. Don't clean it. Put it in a soft holder or a coin sleeve to protect it. Then reach out to a certified coin grader like PCGS or NGC to confirm its authenticity. That one step could be the difference between a dream and a payday worth over $1 million. Even if you don't find one, remember, the thrill, that chase, is what collecting is all about. Every coin has a story, and every story brings you closer to the next great discovery. The 1990 no mint mark penny isn't just rare, it's legendary, and maybe, just maybe, your story is next. Imagine a coin worth $1.4 million hiding in plain sight. A coin so ordinary that millions of people have held it, spent it, dropped it, or tossed it into a jar without a second thought. But behind its copper-red glow lies one of the most shocking mysteries in modern coin history, the 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Most people see a penny and see just 1 cent. But collectors, the true treasure hunters of America, know that every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. Somewhere out there, a simple 1989 Lincoln penny, struck without a mint mark, has become a symbol of luck, destiny, and pure chance. One small, forgotten coin that could turn an ordinary person into a millionaire overnight. Back in 1989, millions of pennies poured out of the U.S. Mint. Most came stamped with a small D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But a handful slipped through the presses without any mint mark at all, no letter beneath the date, just the face of Abraham Lincoln staring forward as if keeping the secret himself. These no mint mark pennies were never meant to exist. Yet somehow, they did, and now here's where the mystery deepens. How did a coin that shouldn't exist slip into circulation? Some experts believe it was a minting error, a forgotten die left over from the Philadelphia Mint. Others whisper about deliberate strikes, secret tests, or mint employees who knew exactly what they were doing. No one has ever confirmed the truth. And that's what keeps collectors awake at night, wondering how many of these silent, mintless coins are still out there. If you're holding a 1989 penny right now, take a closer look. Flip it under a bright light. Look just below the date. Do you see a D? A tiny S? Or nothing at all? If there's no mint mark, absolutely nothing, your heart might start racing, because that tiny blank space could mean everything. These no mint mark 1989 pennies have been reported to sell for as much as $1.4 million in pristine condition. $1 million for a penny, let that sink in. A coin so common, yet so rare, that its very existence feels like an accident of fate. But there's more to this story than money. It's about the thrill of discovery. Imagine digging through a jar of spare change, the coins you've ignored for years, and finding that one piece of metal that changes everything. One small copper coin that rewrites your story. Every collector has that moment of doubt. It'll never happen to me. But time and time again, history proves otherwise. From garages to glove compartments, life-changing coins have appeared in the most unexpected places. Every year, someone finds one. Every year, another ordinary person becomes a part of coin collecting legend. Now, to identify this rare 1989 no mint mark penny correctly, you need to be sharp. Start with the basics. Look at the date 1989. Check beneath it. There should be no visible mint mark. The surface should have the distinctive Lincoln Memorial on the back, not the Union Shield. Pay attention to the details: clear edges, strong strike, no obvious wear. The closer to mint condition it is, the more valuable. The rarest examples have a perfect shine untouched by circulation and are known to have a slightly different color tone, a deeper red luster. Experts also suggest inspecting under magnification for clarity in Lincoln's eye, beard, and the word liberty. Tiny imperfections could mean the difference between a few dollars and $1 million treasure. The emotional power of this discovery can't be overstated. People spend their lives chasing big dreams, fortune, security, freedom, but few realize that sometimes it's already in their hands. The sound of that penny dropping onto the counter, the weight of it in your palm, it could be worth more than gold. Pause for a second and think about how many 1989 pennies have passed through your life. The handful you tossed into a vending machine. The one that rolled under your car seat. The ones your kids used in school projects. Any one of them could be the one. And the story doesn't end here. The reason collectors are obsessed with these coins isn't just because of their value, it's because they defy logic. They're a reminder that perfection isn't what makes something priceless. It's the flaws, the errors, the accidents, the things that weren't supposed to happen that end up becoming treasures. If you've ever felt overlooked or ordinary, remember this penny. It was never meant to exist. Yet it does. It slipped through the system, unnoticed, unvalued, until someone finally looked closely enough to see what it truly was. That's what makes it magical. That's what makes it a symbol of hope. Now picture this: a quiet night, a kitchen table, a single lamp shining down as you empty a coffee can of loose change. Your hands sift through decades of forgotten coins. The sound of copper clinking fills the air. Then suddenly, one coin catches the light differently. You pick it up. 1989, no mint mark. No letter. Just that same calm face of Lincoln and silence. Your pulse quickens. You realize you might be holding a piece of history worth over $1 million. In that moment, everything changes. Every coin becomes a clue. Every jar becomes a treasure chest. Every moment you doubted your luck becomes a step closer to destiny. Collectors all across America are searching right now, driven by stories like this. They know the odds are slim, but they also know someone will find the next one. So before you spend another penny, take one more look. Check the date. Check the details. Because the smallest thing you overlook could be the most valuable thing you ever own. The mystery of the 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny continues to fascinate experts, collectors, and dreamers alike. It's more than just metal and minting, it's a story of discovery, chance, and the incredible possibilities hidden in everyday life. This isn't just about finding money. It's about finding meaning, the idea that even the most ordinary things can hold extraordinary value if you just look close enough. And somewhere out there, maybe even in your own home, that one coin still waits, silent, unmarked, and priceless. Imagine holding a simple 1988 penny in your hand, a coin so ordinary, so unassuming, you'd probably toss it into a jar without a second thought. But what if I told you that one tiny letter stamped on this coin, a letter you've seen 1,000 times before, could be the key to unlocking a fortune? A fortune worth over $1 million. This isn't a myth. This isn't a rumor. This is a real possibility that most collectors still don't even know exists. And now, before we go deeper, think about this: every penny has a story. The 1988 Lincoln penny carries one of the most mysterious, most thrilling stories in all of American coin history. To most people, it's just copper-plated zinc. But to those who know what to look for, it's a ticket to unimaginable wealth. A tiny engraving error. A minting mix-up that never should have happened. And that's where our story begins, inside the Denver Mint, back in 1988. Picture the scene. Machines roaring, thousands of coins per minute flying down the line. Somewhere in that chaos, a handful of pennies were struck with something they never should have had: a reverse design from an entirely different year. A reverse die intended for 1989, paired by accident with the 1988 obverse. The mistake was so small, so easy to miss, that even the mint workers didn't notice. But collectors, sharp-eyed, patient, and passionate, eventually discovered the truth: the 1988 D Lincoln penny with the 1989 reverse die. That's the Holy Grail. A true transitional error, born from the rarest kind of minting mistake. And today, a perfect example can sell for thousands, and experts believe that a flawless, uncirculated one could easily reach into the $1 million range. Imagine that. A coin you might have spent without thinking twice could change your life forever. Most of us haven't. But once you know the secret, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. Because here's how you spot it. First, focus on the small details. On the back, just below E pluribus unum, look at the designer's initials FG. On a normal 1988 penny, those letters are bold and crisp. But on the rare 1988D transitional variety, they're thinner, more delicate, with the G floating slightly farther from the base. That subtle difference is the clue. That's your $1 million detail. Take a deep breath. You might want to grab a magnifying glass for this part. Turn your penny over under a light and tilt it just enough to catch the gleam. If the designer initials match the 1989 reverse thinner FG, slightly altered spacing, you may have just uncovered a treasure that only a handful of people on Earth possess. Most collectors will go their entire lives without ever seeing one in person. But the beauty of coin hunting is that anyone, anywhere, can get lucky. Imagine finding one of these pennies in an old jar, maybe left behind by your parents or grandparents. That's not just luck, that's destiny. Because these coins didn't end up in circulation by design. They slipped through the cracks, unnoticed, unappreciated, waiting decades for someone like you to discover them. Every year, more people learn about this coin, and every year, the remaining few become harder to find. Most are worn, scratched, lost to time. But a pristine one, a coin that's been hiding untouched, could fetch a price that defies logic. Collectors talk in whispers about the possibility of a perfect example appearing at auction, breaking the 7-figure barrier. $1 million for a penny that cost 1 cent to make. That's the American dream hidden in plain sight. Yes. It already has. Coins like the 1943 copper penny and the 1955 doubled die have proven that mint errors can skyrocket in value. The 1988 D transitional penny sits in that same rare category. It's the kind of coin that turns collectors into legends. Close your eyes for a second and imagine finding it. You're at your kitchen table, sorting through a handful of change. The light hits the penny just right. You notice something different, something off. Your heart starts to race. You check the reverse, and your eyes widen. Those initials look thinner. Could it be? You grab your phone, search for images of the 1988 D with the 1989 reverse, and it matches perfectly. That's not just a find. That's a life-changing moment, but don't get discouraged if you don't find it right away. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about money, it's about mystery, discovery, and the thrill of the hunt. Every penny you check brings you one step closer to the next great treasure. You're not just searching through coins. You're exploring history, holding in your hand a piece of America's story. Now, let's go even deeper. Some experts believe there may be more varieties of the 1988 D penny out there, yet undiscovered. Variations in strike, die alignment, even slight differences in the mint mark placement. Each could potentially be unique, each could command massive premiums if authenticated. That's why knowledge is power. The more you learn, the better your odds become. Every serious collector knows this truth: fortune favors the curious. And curiosity is exactly what leads ordinary people to extraordinary discoveries. Think about all the change you've handled over the years, all the coins you've spent or ignored. Somewhere among them, there could have been a tiny, 1-cent miracle that slipped through your fingers. Here's your second attention reset. This is your call to action. The next time you find a 1988 D penny, stop. Don't spend it. Don't toss it aside. Take a closer look. Get a jeweler's loupe or a magnifying app and check those initials. If they're thin, faint, and slightly separated, you could be staring at a coin worth thousands, maybe even that $1 in a million example. People say lightning never strikes twice. But in the world of rare coins, it does every time someone discovers another minting miracle. And the 1988 D Lincoln penny is one of those miracles. Let's bring this story home. Somewhere out there, a coin minted over 3 decades ago still sits hidden in a drawer, in a jar, or buried in an old wallet.
It's waiting for the right eyes to see it, the right hands to hold it, the right moment to reveal its secret.
Maybe that moment is now, because in this world, greatness often hides behind the smallest things: a grain of sand, a spark, a penny. And sometimes, those small things can change your life forever. So tonight, when you check your change, remember this story. Because this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million.